Russia's foreign ministry has denounced continued Israeli strikes on Iran as illegal and said that a solution to the conflict over Tehran's nuclear program can only be found through diplomacy. He has further asserted that the threats to international security are unacceptable and can potentially push the world to a nuclear catastrophe. All right, joining me live on the broadcast is Aryella Israel, who is the director of the international relations of Ashdod municipality. Thank you very much for joining us live on the broadcast and appreciate your presence. How do you react to these developments that we are tracking as far as the Israel-Iran conflict blows up? Russia has said that Israel attacks on Iran are illegal. This is a big statement while denouncing the Israeli strikes on Iran. How do you react to this? And one should look at this with what perspective is what we can and expect to learn from your comments, ma'am?
Well, I must say that in this ongoing armed conflict, Israel is strictly adhering the law of armed conflict and conducting precise strikes against military objectives only, while taking every feasible measure to minimize collateral harm to civilians. This is the contrary to Iran, who is targeting civilians, diplomats, and it doesn't adhere if it's a civilian or military objective. They just launch indiscriminate bomb missile attacks on the state of Israel. So this is not new for us. For years, the Iranian regime has ongoing via its proxies, killing, bombarding, funding terrorist attacks against the state of Israel, also the Jewish community around the world. It goes back to the Argentinian bomb at the Oklahoma embassy and so on.
Well, at this point of time, Ms. Aryella, what we are also looking at as the geopolitical tensions continue to be on a rise, and there are also questions on how the negotiations are going to take place with Iran and Israel continuing to hit at each other bases. What are your current expectations, and if we have to put it rightly so, what are your in fact outcomes that you are expecting at this point of time as far as G7 meeting is also concerned?
Well, Israel cannot or will not expect the situation. The Operation Rise the Line that was launched is a measure of last resort. Israel didn't have any other possibility. This is the last resort in order to be safe. And I'm sure that President Trump understands the situation. It's a very close ally of the state of Israel. I'm sure that both countries are working closely with each other. And, you know, I hope that the Americans will enter and, of course, assist Israel. I'm, of course, not in the rooms, the secret rooms, so I don't know exactly what's going on. But as a resident and a citizen of the state of Israel, when I hear through the communications the situation, I'm happy that the Western countries stand by Israel, and they understand that Israel is doing and fighting for the whole world, not only for the state of Israel and for its survival, but for all countries, all democratic countries that share the same values of security, openness, multiculturalism, and values of freedom, something that we not see on the Islamic regime.
Well,
Israel hasn't
absolutely
anything against the citizens of Iran, nothing about the people of Iran. We are only fighting the Islamic terrorist regime of Tehran.
Well, Ms. Arslan, at this point of time, as you are also saying that you appreciate the West countries vouching their support for Israel, but at the same time, the increasing risk of this conflict is also having the reflections on the global economy. And if we speak about that from the perspective of Israel, how do you look at ways for de-escalation? Because de-escalation of the conflict is also one of the takeaways of the statement that have been witnessed in the UK president, the Canadian president's statement at G7. While we speak about the conflict, it was in fact mentioned in his statement about de-escalation. So how do you look forward to that if we speak about way forward from this?
Understand that the security is the very existence of the state of Israel. This is our the Operation Rising Lion is our survival. Iran with nuclear weapons is destabilizing the whole region and the whole country, all the countries of the Western democratic countries in the world. It's not only an issue of Israel. So I understand that there, of course, will be economic escalations, and it's an outcome of war. War isn't a good thing. People must remember that. But on the other hand, this is the only solution that the state of Israel has for its survival. It has to be done. It's about time. We, over the years, 20, 30 years since the falling of the Sheikh in 1979, Israel is suffering from the Islamic regime. They are funding proxies, the Iranian proxies around the world, the Hamas, the Hezbollah, the Houthis. It's about time that we must deal with the head of the snake.
Ms. Ursula, while also we are looking at these developments in the context of G7, Mr. Trump had met with Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, and he also stressed that it was a mistake to remove Russia from the organization in 2014, and also said that doing so has destabilized the world. He also even suggested that it would be a good idea to add China to the G7. How do you look at these statements coming at the same time when we are already overstressed and worried about the ramifications of the Middle East conflict on the global economy, the trade and the tariffs?
Well, the war now, the operation, of course, is it's against the ongoing aggression poses on the existential threat of Israel. And this threat is, of course, infecting international peace and security. This is why Israel, once again, will continue to take measures necessary to protect itself and its citizens in full accordance with international law. And of course, this has effects also on the economy of all states. But people, once again, must understand that the government of Israel and the IDF are doing everything in order to eliminate the threat on the state of Israel. And of course, hopefully in the near future, a new era for the Middle East and for the world. Once Iran will eliminate the threat of the nuclear war and the ballistic missiles and so on, and all what it has done to the proxies and all nurtured the Hamas and so on, then there will be stability for the Middle East and of course for the world.